I woke up, my lady, in the early hours of the 14th of February. It was extremely warm in my room. I sat up in bed. I noticed that the fans were still running and that the door was still open. Although the lights had been switched off. Reeva was still awake, or she was obviously not sleeping. She rolled over to me and she said, "Can't you sleep, my baba?" And I said, "No, I can't." And I got out on my side of the bed. I walked around the bed, foot of the bed. I was holding onto the foot of the bed with my left hand. I got to the fans, where the fans were. I took the small fan, the floor fan. I placed it pretty much just inside the room, and I took the bigger tripod fan and I took it by the parts just underneath the fan, and I placed it in the bedroom. The fans were still running. At the time, and I then proceeded to close the sliding doors and lock them. I then drew the curtains.
And the blinds?
I don't remember. I just remember closing. I just grabbed and closed. It was fairly dark at the time, and I probably closed both of them, but I remember closing the curtains. I came into the room at this point. The only bit of light that was in the room was a little LED light on the amplifier where the TV cabinet was. It was a little blue LED light, and I could see a pair of jeans that were on the floor, of Reeva's jeans. I picked the jeans up and was going to just place them over the amplifier, over the lights. Because at this point that I heard a window open in the bathroom. It sounded like the window sliding open, and then I could hear the window hit the frame, as if it had slipped to a point where it can't slide anymore.
It's the wooden frame window.
So all the frames in my house and doors are wooden frames, maybe.
What did you think at the time, Mr. Pistorius?
My lady, that's the moment that everything changed. I thought that there was a burglar that was gaining entry into my home. I was on the side of the room where you first have to cross the passage which leads to the bathroom. I think initially I just froze. I didn't really know what to do. I heard this noise. I interpreted it as being somebody was climbing into the bathroom. There's no door between the bathroom and my room. It's all one. There's a passageway, but there's no door. There's a toilet door, but there's no barrier between me and the bathroom. It's one room. I immediately thought that somebody, if they were at the window to where the entrance of the passage was, could be 3-4 meters. They could be there at any moment. And the first thing that ran through my mind was that I needed to arm myself, that I needed to protect Reeva and I, that I needed to get my gun. I was looking down the passage. I was scared that the person was going to come out, or people were going to come out at that point. I rushed as quick as I could. I couldn't see anything in the room, so I ran with my hand out in front of me, at times touching the floor, and then when I got to my bed, I made my way along the side of my bed. I grabbed my firearm from underneath the bed, and it had a canvas holster on it, so I immediately took it off the holster. At that point, I wanted to just put myself between, get back to where the passage was, so that I could put myself between the person that had gained access to my house and Reeva. When I got just before the passage wall, I remember slowing down because I was scared that at that point this person, during the time that I'd got from that I'd left that amp to where I got my firearm, could have possibly already been in the passage, in the closet passage. So I slowed down and I had my firearm extended in front of me. Just as I left my bed, I whispered for Reeva to get down and phone the police. As I entered where the passage is, where the closet is to the, where I entered the passage, where the closet is to the bathroom, it was at that point that I was just overcome with fear, and I started screaming and shouting for the burglar or the intruders to get out of my house. I shouted for Reeva to get on the floor. I shouted for her to phone the police. I screamed at the persons to get out of us. Slowly made my way down the passage, constantly aware that this threats, these people or persons could come at me at any time. I didn't have my legs on. And just before I got to the wall of the, like where the tile starts in the bathroom, I stopped shouting because I was worried that if I shouted, the person would know exactly where I was. I put my head around the corner that I could get shot. Just before I got to the passage of the bathroom, I heard a door slam, which could have only been the toilet door. I couldn't see into the bathroom at this point, but I could hear the door slam. And for me to confirm that there was, I got to the entrance of the bathroom at the end of the passage, where I stopped screaming. At this point I was certain that the intruders were there in my...
I'll ask you again to raise up your voice, please.
I'm sorry, my lady. At that point that I was entering the bathroom, I was not shouting or screaming. At that point I thought that the intruders were going to come out or were around the corner or in the bathroom at that time. I approached this point of the entrance to the bathroom. I was walking with my left hand against the cabinets, against the closet, as far away from the entrance of the bathroom as I possibly could be. When I got to the point in the bottom right hand side of the photo, I had my pistol in my right hand, and I peered into the bathroom. I then made my way pretty much to where the carpet and the tile meet on the left hand side where the arrow is. The surface changed, and where I can walk more comfortably on the carpet, I wasn't able to walk as have much mobility on the tile surfaces. I kept my left hand behind me and on my shoulder against the wall, and I had my pistol raised to my eye, to the corner of the entrance of the bathroom. Over this point here.
If you could just show the court perhaps, maybe if I can just ask this person, can you demonstrate again, Mr. Pistorius, and keep your finger there? So they can maybe just bring an arrow there. Yeah. Or a little ring. Have you seen it where they were indicating? Is that the correct place?
That's correct, my lady. There was no lights in the bathroom. I could see, as I slowly peered into the bathroom, I could see that the window was open indeed. I was pretty much on my back against the wall with my hand up against the wall to use as balance. I was leaning with my back, slowly scuffling along the left hand side wall. I wasn't sure if there were people or intruders were in the toilets, or if they were on a ladder that they would have used to gain access to the first floor, or if they were around the corner at that point. I still had my firearm pointed in front of me, and I peered around the corner to look where the shower was, which was around in the bathroom, in line with the toilet. I peered around this corner, which is in the bottom right hand side of the frame. At that point I saw that there was no one in the bathroom. The door was closed of the toilet and the window was open. Once I saw that there wasn't anybody around the corner wanting to attack me, I retreated a little bit, maybe a step or two back, still with my hand against the wall. I slid my back and my shoulder to help me balance. At this point I started screaming again for Reeva to phone the police. I wasn't sure where to point the firearm. I had it pointed at the toilet, but my eyes were going between the window and the toilet. I stood there for some time, not sure how long. I wasn't sure if somebody was going to come out of the toilet to attack me. I wasn't sure if someone was going to come up the ladder and point a firearm in the house and start shooting. So I just stayed where I was and I kept on screaming. And then I heard a noise from inside the toilet. What I perceived to be somebody coming out of the toilet. Before I knew it, I'd fired 4 shots at the door. My ears were ringing, I couldn't hear anything. So I kept on shouting for Reeva to phone the police. I was still scared to retreat because I wasn't sure if there was somebody on the ladder. I wasn't sure if there was somebody in the toilet. I don't know how long I stood there for. I shouted for Reeva. At some point I decided to walk back to the room because couldn't hear anything. My ears were ringing. I couldn't hear if there was a response or not. I didn't have the phone on me. I walked with my hand out on the left-hand cupboards with my pistol still raised. I kept on shouting for Reeva. I didn't hear anything. At this point, it hadn't occurred to me yet that it could be Reeva in the bathroom. I still thought that there would be intruders that would possibly in the toilet or on the ladder outside the house. I retreated back to a point where I got to the corner of the bed. I put my hand out on the bed and I tried to lift myself up whilst talking to Reeva. There was no one responded to me. At that point I lifted myself up onto the bed and I placed my hand back to the right hand side of the bed and I looked. I felt if Reeva was there and I couldn't feel anything. And at that point the first thing I thought was maybe that she got down onto the floor. Like I told her to, maybe she was just scared. So I said, I can't remember what I said, but I was trying to talk out to her and I kept my firearm, the whole time I moved along the bed backwards, I kept my firearm at the passage. There was not much light coming out, but I didn't want to even take my eyes off where the closet was. I think it was at that point, my lady, that it first dawned upon me that it could be Reeva that was in the bathroom or in the toilet. I jumped out off the other side of the bed and I ran my hand along the curtains to see that she wasn't hiding behind the curtain. I couldn't see much in the room, but I could see where the passage was, and I felt around and made my way back up the passage. I still had my firearm in front of me. At this point I was mixed with emotions. I didn't know if... I didn't want to believe that it could be Reeva inside the toilet. I was still scared that maybe somebody was coming in to attack me or us. I made my way back to inside the bathroom and I walked up to the bathroom door. I tried to grab the handle and rip open the door, push the door open, and it was locked. I then for the first time I turned around with my back facing the bathroom. I ran back to the room. I opened the curtains. I shouted from the balcony. I opened the doors and I shouted from the balcony for help. Scream, help, help, help. I screamed for somebody to help me. And then I put my prosthetic legs on. I ran as fast as I could back to the bathroom. I ran into the door. I didn't move at all. I leaned back and I tried to kick the door, and nothing happened. I was just panicked at this point. I didn't really know what to make or what to do. I ran back to the bedroom where the cricket bat was between the cabinet and the door.
Were you screaming at that stage?
I was screaming and shouting the whole time, crying out. I don't think I can I don't think I've ever screamed like that or cried like that or screamed, or I was crying out for the Lord to help me. I was crying out for Reeva. I was screaming. I don't know what to do. I ran straight back to the bathroom door. I placed my fire. I don't remember, but I must have placed my firearm on the carpet in the bathroom.
Do you know if the light was on or off at that stage in the bathroom?
The light was on at that stage when it... I don't remember switching it on. I remember it being on when I kicked the door. I ran straight up to the door and I started hitting it. So I think I hit it 3 times. The first time I hit it, I remember hitting, I hit the frame of the door and the shock in my hands. So I swung again and it hit a small piece open. And at that point all I wanted to do was just look inside to see if it was Reeva. I then hit the door. I think I hit the door 3 times, and there was a big plank. I grabbed it with my hands and I threw it out into the bathroom. I leant over the middle partition. I tried to open the door from the inside, but there was no key in the door, and I leant over the middle partition of the door. And I saw the key was on the floor. At that point, all I wanted to do was just climb into the toilet over the middle part of the door. Whilst I leant over the partition to get in, I saw the key, so I took it and I unlocked the door and I flung the door open and I threw it open. And I sat over Reeva and I cried. And I don't know how long I don't know how long I was there for. She wasn't breathing.
We'll take an adjournment. What will you do?